One fact for every episode of Doctor Who, Part 2, the Patrick Troughton era. The power of the Daleks. Lesterson thinks the Daleks may have positronic brains, a sci-fi concept invented by the author Isaac Asimov, who suggested that if androids were real, they would have positronic brains, giving them a degree of consciousness. Or in the case of Data from Star Trek The Next Generation, enough consciousness to be given equal rights. The Highlanders. Fraser Hines played Jamie McCrimmon from the Highlanders all the way up to the War Games, meaning he has been in more episodes than any other companion. However, because all those stories were released in the span of 3 years, he's technically not the longest running companion. Mandeep Gill played Yasmin Khan from The Woman Who Fell to Earth all the way up to The Power of the Doctor. That's fewer episodes, but they were released in the span of 5 years, meaning she is the longest running companion. The Underwater Menace. Before The Underwater Menace became the third story of Troughton's run, Galaxy 4 writer William Ems had pitched a story called Doctor Who and the Imps. The unused 4-part serial involved alien spores arriving on Earth on a space passenger liner, along with some imp-like creatures who could pass through solid objects. Sadly, in early November 1966, Ems was taken seriously ill. He took so long to recover that the script was scrapped, and replaced with The Underwater Menace. Years later, Ems adapted his unused story into the RPG book Mission to Venus, which was published in 1986 by Seven House in the UK and Ballantine in the US. The Moon Base. This story takes place in the year 2070, not long after the old moon hatched and the dragon that came out of it laid a new one. And when the Moonbase crew realise that the Doctor, Ben and Polly have no knowledge of recent history, Hobson calls the Doctor a proper Rip Van Winkle.
Yes. It must be about the year 2050 then.
We got a proper Rip Van Winkle here.
This is a reference to the title character of Washington Irving's 1819 story about a man who sleeps for many years and wakes up to discover the world has changed. The Macra Terror. Back in 1963, when graphics designer Bernard Lodge was creating the title sequence, he saw crew members standing in front of the camera during the electronic test sequence, which caused a distorted image of their faces to appear on screen. Lodge wanted to use this to his advantage, but Verity Lambert thought it would be too scary. When the sequence was updated in 1967, Lambert had left, and Lodge suggested using a photo caption of Patrick Troughton's face in the opening. To create the transitions of the images, Lodge roughed up a sheet of polystyrene and placed it at an angle, so if it tilted one way it would be too bright, and if it tilted the other way it would be too dark. This created the high contrast wipe he needed to get Troughton's face to fade into the picture. The Faceless Ones. During the events of the Faceless Ones, the First Doctor is somewhere nearby fighting the War Machines. The Evil of the Daleks. Of all the 97 missing episodes, this serial is the one I want back. The Tomb of the Cybermen. The Cyber Tombs are opened by solving a logic gate, which implements logical disjunction as part of a switching circuit. First used in the 19th century, logic gates have been used in electronics since the 1930s. The Abominable Snowmen. The name Abominable Snowmen came from the Sherpa's name for the creature, Meto Kangmi, meaning man-bear and snowman. A newspaper correspondent in Calcutta mistranslated Meto as filthy, which led to the creation of the name Abominable Snowmen. Yeti, however, may come from Yi-the, which is Tibetan for rocky area and animal. The Ice Warriors. What scientists thought they knew about Mars in 1967 has since turned out to be wrong, which caused a production error in this story. At the time, Mars was thought to have an atmosphere made entirely of nitrogen, which made it difficult for the Ice Warriors to breathe on Earth. We now know that the Martian atmosphere is not all nitrogen, and there is plenty of it in Earth's atmosphere, so they would have been fine anyway. The Enemy of the World. This serial was missing until 2013, when it was found in an abandoned storage room in a Nigerian TV station, along with several other BBC tapes that were in bad condition. The Web of Fear. When Professor Travers appears at the end of episode 4, he stands behind the two Yeti so only his head is visible. Nobody else is on screen. However, in the reprise that kicks off episode 5, he is further forward and his hand is pointing ahead. Fury from the Deep. This is the only Troughton story where the first word of the title is not the. The Wheel in Space. Patrick Troughton makes an all-time line fluff. Yes, even funnier than anything Hartnell said. He said,
There's something on board that rocket that we've got to have if we're going to beat the Cybermen.
Why not justified risking 2 lives?
Yes, to save many. But anyway, we're all going to be killed shortly unless you switch over to sectional air supply.
What are you talking about?
The Cybermen are going to poison the air.
he meant to say sectional air supply. The Dominators! No, there is not an episode called The Submissives. Quarks were created to recapture the success of the Daleks. However, an argument between writers and production team led to this being their only appearance. It got so bad that Mervyn Haseman and Henry Lincoln tried to legally prevent the serial from airing. The Mind Robber! The character in this episode who happens to be called the Master, no relation, mentions the adventures of Captain Jack Harkaway.
Did you ever hear of the adventures of Captain Jack Harkaway?
No, I can't say that I... Wait a minute.
No relation, who is the main character of a 19th century book series. Jack Harkaway was a seafaring hero created by Samuel Heeming under the pseudonym Bracebridge Hemming in 1871 for the Boys of England. The Invasion! Early drafts of episode 6 of The Invasion included a montage of things going wrong in London in the early morning. It included a milkman on his rounds, the crate of bottles dropped from his hands. A paper boy on his rounds crashes his bicycle. A car swerves across the road. Presumably this scene was scrapped to save a lot of time and money. The Crotons! When the Doctor, Jamie and Zoe first exit the TARDIS, they are greeted with the worst smell in the world. Hydrogen telluride is a chemical compound containing 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part tellurium. Its stench is similar to rotten garlic. The Seeds of Death! One of the characters from this story is named Harry Osgood. 44 years later, the 50th anniversary special Day of the Doctor introduced Petronella Osgood. As far as I know, they've never been officially confirmed to be related, but they almost definitely are. The Space Pirates! There is a continuity error! Zoe doesn't know what candles are.
These candles?
Ah, well done, sir. Yes, a whole box of them.
Well, how do they work?
How do they work?
Which is fair, she is from the far future. But in The Mind Robber, she did know.
Well, there must be somebody here. These candles are alight. Ugh.
Tut tut. The War Games! The Second Doctor regenerates at the end of the War Games. Or does he? Well, according to one of the comics, he escaped from the Time Lords and had some more adventures, before eventually being caught by sentient scarecrows and sent back from Earth to Gallifrey to be sent to Earth. This led to a fan theory known as Season 6B. Fans believe that the War Games is not the end of the Second Doctor, which would explain why he appears with withered clothes and grey hair as well as a different TARDIS interior in the Multi-Doctor stories. There's even an entire Big Finish box set between Season 6 and 7, which, depending on who you ask, makes this theory canon. Please support me on Patreon, I need money, thank you.